Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PuroCast here on the Slam Fam Wrestling Network, a show talking all about New Japan Wrestling, and a show that hopefully TK O'Ryan will not vanity search. I, of course, am Timothy Regal, joined, of course, by my co-host, the leader of Ringside Chat, Mr. Gary Freeland. Gary, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I'm hoping as we get into this show, we'll get to Honor Rising in a bit, and I'm hoping, let's just hope that TK O'Ryan does not vanity search us. Kid, you got bigger things to worry about, man. I just shook my head over the week as like he went after WH Park and he went after Rich Crazy Joe Lanza. It's like, dude, you get like and I'll say this is first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna preview the New Japan Cup, but I will preface Honor Rising review coming later. TK O'Ryan, wow, talk about a kid that just went to Cork and Hall and crapped the bed for 2 days, because that wasn't pretty, and then his reaction to the wrestling media that kind of slammed him for it was not fun. Did you happen to see any of that?
A little bit of it, yeah. It was kind of embarrassing how he reacted to that. So, I like TK O'Ryan. I mean, I think he's a talent. He just had a couple bad nights over there, and then really showed his ass on Twitter. So,
Yeah.
not a good look for him.
And I preach this to young wrestlers that I've worked with on indies. It's like you gotta have a thick skin and you gotta be able, and occasionally you're gonna have an off night. And you gotta be able to brush it off. And obviously he did not brush it off in a good way. He got rather salty with quite a few people that honestly you don't really want to get salty with, because these are guys that have huge social media following, essentially can be influencers in the wrestling business. But anyway, Gary, we are about a week removed from Honor Rising, and I think we'll get to that in a minute. But I think the biggest thing we need to talk about is the upcoming New Japan Cup is coming up, and the biggest thing right off the bat is we've expanded the New Japan Cup. We've gone to 32 participants as opposed to the traditional 16, and all nights of the tournament are going to be on New Japan World beginning on Friday, March 8th. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 shows covering the New Japan Cup, all on New Japan World, all with English commentary. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. That the level of expansion that we've gotten as far as English commentary and the catering to the Western audience is absolutely amazing.
I totally agree. And some of the matchups I will say are kind of odd. And we'll get into those here in a minute. But I do like the expansion of 32 individuals in this tournament, and to give it some more weight and put it to earn your spot in the main event of probably their biggest American show so far.
Yeah. And let's go ahead and run down the bracket here. We'll kind of go through and see what you have versus what I have. And have they announced which matches are going to be on which date yet? I don't think they have, because we also, and we'll get there is an injury that we got to get into here in a minute.
I don't believe so, but I haven't been on their website in a minute, so let's see if they have them on here. Yeah, they do. They have them listed on the New Japan 1972 website.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go down the tournament bracket as I have it at this point.
Okay.
Up first, we've got Yuji Nagata and Tomohiro Ishii. Gary, what do you got in this one?
I think they've been kind of building toward this match. They've been teasing different things here over the last couple months, but I think Ishii's going to take this one. I think he's going to he's usually good in these situations. I like Nagata, but I think Ishii, especially in these future matchups as we get down the bracket, I think would be a better fit for opponent for some of these guys coming up.
Yeah, I've definitely got Ishii going over here. I think he's one of those guys that I think Ishii's one of those guys that I think really shines in tournaments. So I think I think Ishii definitely is picking up a victory here. And gonna kind of, and we'll get into, because you got to think too. You got to look. Whenever I kind of equated this to almost a March Madness type deal where you have to kind of figure out what's going down, what kind of matchups you're going to have in a later round. So after that, we've got Tomoaki Honma versus the man who now holds the Iron Claw of Death, our Lord and Savior Emperor Taichi. What do you think on this one?
Well, I think since Taichi has the Infinity Gauntlet now, that he's probably going to go over in this match. I can't see. Is this how many singles matches has Honma had since he's come back?
I'm not really sure. Not many. That's and
I can't think any of off the top of my head. So that, and I still think they're trying to protect him because of his injury history, and so I can't imagine this match going very long, and two, him going over. So
yeah, I think no. There, like I said, I would worry about him going through 5 matches over the course of this tournament. Obviously, no way is Tomoaki Honma making the finals, but I think they are definitely going to have him go under here to Taichi. Taichi will. I've got. Well, we'll get into the second round later on, but I've got Taichi going over here absolutely in the first round. After that, we get Oh God. Oh my.
yeah,
Gary,
God is right.
Gary, why? In the Proof that Gato hates Timothy Regal match, we have Manabu Nakanishi taking on Yoshihashi. Oh boy. Wow. Gary,
Hopefully this does not go the time limit.
I hope this match goes about 4 minutes. It's like, wow. I mean, this would be the argument against expanding to 32. Because you get matches like this in the first round. Obviously Yoshihashi's gonna go over here. I pray to God.
Nope.
This is going to be something to behold. Trust me. I will probably give you a little teaser that my Twitter will probably be lit, as they say. But Gato, wow, dude, seriously. Okay. Up next, actually, a match that when you look at this first round, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. Juice Robinson taking on Chase Owens. I mean, going into this, we've seen Chase building a lot of momentum. And you've got Juice, who is the U.S. champ. So, and he could. I think this is definitely an upset alert special right here, don't you?
I could see it. It depends on what they want to do with the United States title moving forward. I could see Chase winning here and then getting a shot at the anniversary show, maybe. I don't know when these two are facing, so, but or even while I wouldn't like this, have it at the G1 Supercard, but I do think Juice is going to go over here, but it would not shock me if Chase wins.
It wouldn't surprise me to have Chase, because also if you have Chase win, if you haven't get that upset, then you're setting up also a U.S. title match down the line, which I think could very well be a possibility there as well. So I picked on my sheet, I picked Juice, but it would not surprise me to see Chase go over there, because I think that is a potential upset special. After that, we got Kazuchika Okada, a definite favorite in the tournament, taking on the man returning from injury, Big Mike, Michael Elgin. And, well, obviously, as anybody that follows my social media knows my personal feelings towards Michael Elgin. But as far as a wrestler in New Japan, as I've said many times, call a spade a spade. Mike has great matches and has always had great matches in like G1 type tournaments, in New Japan Cup type tournaments, and a big match for his first match back here against Okada. But I think this is a great match, but there's no way that Okada does not win this, correct?
There's not a chance. But I do think this is a low-key, match of the night type of match here in this first round. Elgin will pull a great match with Okada, but yeah, there's no way in hell he's beating Okada in the first.
After that, we get the returning Hukuleo, who looked great when he came back at the Honor Rising show. That guy, obviously, the time away has been probably been a little bit good for him, because it looks like he's put on some muscle mass. Looked much thicker. But taking on a guy that I'm really excited to see back, Mikey Nichols, the former Nick Miller of TM61 from NXT, making his return to Japan as a New Japan guy, and revealed by Rocky Romero on Twitter as a new member of Chaos. A lot of people don't know, may have forgotten, Mikey Nichols was part of that first LA Dojo training class, along with guys like Rocky Romero and Bryan Danielson and Low Ki. So there is a backstory there, especially with Rocky, and I'm really excited to see him. And going against the young line here, I think Hukuleo. I've liked the little bit we saw of Hukuleo before he got injured, but I think, and you looked at that second round, I think definitely Mikey Nichols, the guy that they're bringing him in. He's got a great look. I think they're going to try to push him here, and he's definitely getting the win in the first round. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I was actually more surprised that Chaos was still a thing. We have talked about that on previous shows, so to see them, inducting new members is great. And I was a big fan of the mighty Neil, and so I'm glad to see him back in New Japan. I'm glad to see him out of the machine over here. And I agree. I think he's gonna probably steal a win here in the first round and take on Okada in the second.
So then we have going towards the next half of the bracket, we got Will Ospreay versus Bad Luck Fale. Why don't you give me your opinion on this one first?
I've heard some things that Ospreay may be injured, so I'm wondering if that is true, if he has an early exit here in the beginning, especially with his match with Jay White here on the anniversary show. That being said, I'd much rather see him advance, but I'll be curious to see if he can pull out a good match out of Fale, and Fale can finally have another opponent outside of Okada that pulls him into good matches. But yeah, I would not be shocked if Ospreay's out here in the first.
Well, as far as Will Ospreay being injured, it almost seems like a thing where Will Ospreay's going to be one of those guys, I think, where is there ever going to be a time where he isn't injured in some way? Mm-hmm. Obviously, as we saw in Honor Rising, the Will Ospreay as a heavyweight push really has kind of picked up some steam. So I think, if all things being equal, I think Ospreay retains here. But if he is banged up, it wouldn't surprise me to see Bad Luck Fale get a win. And then, you could, if you have Fale get a win, you could technically set up a match where Fale goes after the never open weight title, and then Will could get his win back that way as well. So, that's one of the things with champions in these tournaments, is you can always use that as a launching pad to a program later down the line in a loss. So, but no, I put I put Ospreay over him again. A match where I put Ospreay over on my ballot, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Fale get a victory here. Up next, we got Toa Hanare versus Lance Archer in the first round. I will admit, we've talked about this before on the show. I run a little hot and cold on Toa Hanare. Some days I think he's okay, some days not so much. He looked really good on the Honor Rising shows, and I've always thought the guy's got a great look. I feel like he's just, for whatever reason, a guy that just hasn't broken through that ceiling, but could be a push commodity if they decide to do something with him. And I think if you look at the potential for later rounds, I think this is a match where Hanare wins and then goes on, and depending on who goes over in that Ospreay Fale match, maybe a deeper run in that tournament.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't see them putting over a primarily tag team guy here in this tournament. This gives Hanare a nice signature win and puts him in a match potentially against Ospreay or Fale. And again, you could have Ospreay go over in the first, the Bullet Club beat the snot out of him after the match, and leave him, kind of wounded for Hanare here in the second, who can advance and have a nice little run here in the New Japan Cup.
Yeah. Up next on that one, we got a match. I'm really looking forward to this one. Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on the young lion Shota Umino in the first round. Umino is a guy who is absolutely 100% ready for Excursion.
Mm-hmm.
And could this potentially be the match where they kind of send him out? He had an absolutely amazing matches. We'll talk about a little bit more with on a Rising with Zack Sabre Jr. I am looking forward to this. I think Tanahashi's gonna make the kid look like $1 million, and this has the potential to be a great contest. That being said, absolutely zero chance that Tanahashi is not going over, but I think this is going to be a great match.
Oh, absolutely. That Zack Sabre Jr. match was fantastic, and I was surprised how much time they gave him in that match too. I think it went almost 15 minutes. So I would love to see this match get some time, and Tanahashi's going over, but I think the kid's going to look great, and I think it's time for Excursion for him.
Yeah, Shota's a kid, and obviously, like you saw it on Rising, where they value him because they gave him a lot of time. Zach gave him way more than you would normally give a young lion in that type of match, and obviously he's put on size. He's bulked up. He's gained more power. I think this is the guy that's going to go on Excursion for a while and then come back and probably definitely be a push commodity. Maybe not on the Jay White level, but definitely on the level of like a Watanabe when he turned into evil type of push.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the next match. Now, no official word yet. This was originally supposed to be Hiroyoshi Tenzan versus David Finlay. Unfortunately, David Finlay sustained a pretty significant shoulder injury on the Honor Rising shows. And is going to be out of this tournament. No word on who's replacing him yet. A lot of people are saying possibly not Kawada. Who am I thinking, Gary?
Oh God. I know you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
The kid from Kai Tai Dojo's name. I'm brain farting on it right now. There's a couple potential names out there. I kind of wondering, is there anybody that's not a young line you can throw in there, because I worry I'm almost at a point where I worry every time Tenzan gets in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody pointed out, as a couple people pointed out, the ankle to me, and now anytime he does anything as far as like going to the top rope, I can't unsee it. It's like the fact that the man can barely stand on one side of his body. I really, really, really worry about that. It's like, if it is if they do just throw a young lion in there, Tenzon probably goes over. But I would kind of hope they, because I think Finley was obviously supposed to go over here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of obviously very interested to see who they will throw in to that spot. But
I would love to see them pull someone from Ring of Honor and stick in this spot. Because, I mean, there's a lot of good potential matchups there. And a guy that they just recently signed that I think and would fit in this spot perfectly would be Roosh. I think would be a very interesting matchup with Tenzon. And then he would be going on to that second round to face Tanahashi, which I think would be a fantastic match.
Roosh would be awesome. Maybe, I mean, technically in New Japan, would Bandito be a junior? The one glaring name that stands out to me is, can we get Jeff Cobb on a plane?
Oh, yes, let's do that.
Jeff Cobb just was noticeably absent from this tournament. I will say I do believe someone was telling me Ring of Honor does have a TV taping scheduled for some time during the tournament, and that might be why.
Could be.
No, I mean, if you just need somebody to come in for a round or two for a couple of days, can we get maybe Jeff Cobb? But we will kind of have to wait and see where that one goes. Up next, we have the definite marquee match of the first round: Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. Oh boy, that was a first round match.
Yeah, we have Nakanishi and Yoshihashi in one first round match, and then these two guys in another. So,
yeah,
bizarre.
Yeah, that is strange. Obviously Naito has constantly made the claim that he wants to be the double champion. I've gone back and forth on this one so many times. This match is going to be, there's no way this match isn't fantastic. So I'm looking forward to it. I put Kota Ibushi, I got Kota Ibushi advancing here. What about you?
I do as well, and I believe this is probably your Intercontinental title match at the G1 Supercard. Ibushi wins here and sets up that match for that card, which will be fantastic.
Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with you on that, because based on what we saw on Honor Rising, I get the sense we're getting a Naito versus Matt Taven match at G1
Don't
Supercard.
say that. No.
I hate to say it, but I think I hate to tell you, but I think that's probably the true.
Probably.
Then after that, we get Evil and Zack Sabre Jr. This is a match that we've seen this match a few times, and I always enjoyed it. So, I'll look forward to it. This one could go either way, and I especially look at who's going over in the match before it. I have Ibushi going over, and I'm gonna pick Zack just because I really, really, really would love to see a Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a match that could be pretty amazing to watch. So I pick Zack. What about you?
Yeah, I have Zack as well. I think Zack and Ibushi will be fantastic in the second. If Naito goes over, though, I do think Evil may steal another win here and set up the LIJ, versus LIJ match in the second. But yeah, after Zack's run last year in the New Japan Cup, I think it would be, kind of anticlimactic to have him drop out in the first. So I think it makes sense for him to advance here.
This is the portion of the bracket that really, especially the early rounds, is the toughest nut to crack, because the next match we've got is Togi Makabe versus Colt Cabana. What?
Yeah.
Makabe, who did Togi in that 6-man tag? Did Togi Makabe even tag in on Honor Rising? Like,
I don't recall.
There was a match on Honor Rising where I think Togi Makabe literally just stood on the apron for the entire match. I have no clue where they're going with that one. Based on the bracketing, I picked Colt Cabana because as if you look at the next match, and I'll just kind of float into this, it's Toru Yano versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. I think they're setting up a Colt Cabana versus Toru Yano match in the second round.
Probably.
And here's the thing that I will always say this. Everybody knows Colt Cabana is, the gaga, ha-ha, funny wrestler. People forget, and obviously growing up in the Midwest, I will always say this, when Colt wants to wrestle, Colt can wrestle.
I think the same thing can be said about Yano. I think these two are, pretty much identical to each other, just different parts of the world. So, and I agree. I tend to think that's what the matchup's going to be. That being said, I picked Makabe for the simple fact that Makabe is probably one of their biggest mainstream talents in New Japan. He has that television show and other things. He's tied into other things in Japanese culture outside of New Japan. So it wouldn't shock me if he went over on Colt. But a serious Colt Cabana versus a serious Yano second round match could be, a sleeper steal or a hit of the night. So I wouldn't hate that either.
Wouldn't that be something if Colt Cabana and Toru Yano have a second round match? They just come out and have a straight up wrestling match.
It'll never happen, but it would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be a pretty fun one. The second to last match we got Kojima versus Satoshi Kojima taking on Minoru Suzuki. Two absolute legends. I still enjoy watching Kojima work. I think the guy's still great. So I'm two veterans, as we say, but a match I'm looking forward to. I kind of feel like this one could go either way, but based on the bracketing of this side of the bracket, I've got Suzuki going over here.
Yeah, same thing.
And then
simply for the because of this last match we're going to talk about, I want to see Minoru Suzuki and Sonata go at it again. I think they have fantastic chemistry, and just for selfish reasons, I'd like to see them go at it in a second.
Suzuki going over and then facing either of the two men in our last match. We got Goto and Sonata. I actually have Goto advancing here because then we set up a Suzuki Goto match, which we haven't had since Wrestle Kingdom. That amazing feud and that amazing show-stealing match they had at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Mm-hmm. But Goto Sonata, you could go either way. Again, I'm sure we'll play up which Sonata is going to show up for the match. But again, that one could kind of go either way. I'm not sure where that's going to go.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm a big fan of Sonata on his own. I think giving him a nice little run here would be a good boost for that, especially since they got the tag straps off of him now. So I'm going to go with Sonata.
So we'll do the whole March Madness gimmick and we'll just say where we kind of predict where the second round is going, because I think there's a lot of the first round ones are kind of open and shut. Mm-hmm. So if we're going by what we've got picked, because I think me and you were we were pretty close to even. So on just about pretty close to similar on every match. So we'll go second round, Ishii versus Taichi. I think the Taichi push continues. I'm going to pick Taichi over in that one.
It would not shock me if he won. I have Ishii marked simply because I think Ishii and Juice will be interesting. But yeah, it would not shock me if Taichi with the Infinity Gauntlet goes, deep into this tournament.
So then we would have Yoshihashi versus either Juice Robinson or Chase Owens. I think either way, whoever wins that Juice Chase match wins. I'm going to go with Juice. I have Juice listed on my bracket, so I'm going to say Juice is picking up the victory there. What about you?
Yeah, definitely Juice, I think, goes over here.
Then we got Okada versus Mikey Nichols. Great match. I think Okada, especially since he is a chaos guy, goes out of his way to make Mike look great. But again, no way Okada's losing here. I got Okada.
Yeah, I got Okada too. But it'll be a good match.
Then we would get Will Ospreay versus Toa Hanare, or Bad Luck Fale versus Toa Hanare, especially depending on Ospreay's status. Again, I've got Ospreay penciled in. So I've got and I also have Ospreay going over on Toa Hanare. What say you?
Yeah, I have Ospreay as well.
Then we would have Tanahashi versus, well, of course, I had Tanahashi versus David Finlay. Let's just say there's no way Tanahashi's losing in the second round either. So I'm assuming you're in agreement there.
Yeah. Yep.
So Tanahashi advances into the round of 8. I've got Ibushi penciled in, so we'll go with that. Like I said, Ibushi Naito. I just think Ibushi's going in. I have Ibushi penciled, so Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. I've got Ibushi going over in that spot. What about you?
I do as well. I think Ibushi's probably going to the final on this side of the bracket, so yeah, I have Ibushi marked here.
Then we have Colt Cabana over Yano. I just, out of some reason, think Colt. I said just for shits and giggles for myself, I actually put Colt Cabana.
Well, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but I thought he got super over in those 2 Honor Rising shows, so it would not shock me if Colt goes over here, but I have Yano marked on my bracket.
Colt, then we would have Suzuki versus, I think me and you kind of divide on this one, Goto or Sonata. I put Suzuki into the round of 8. What about you?
I have Sonata going into the round of 8.
Okay, so then we'll kind of go back to the top. We would have, I have Taichi, you have Ishii, and then we both have Juice. I have Juice going to the Final 4 out of this side. What about you?
I think Ishii wins here and sets up a future title match with Juice.
Okay. Then we have Okada taking on. I have Okada Ospreay. What about you?
I have the same thing.
Okay, so Okada Ospreay. This would be if this is the case, a rematch of the phenomenal Anniversary show main event from last year. That's kind of where I went with this, and I have Okada over here going to the Final 4.
I do as well.
Okay. So then we have Tanahashi. Both of us have Tanahashi, and Tanahashi and Kota. Is this Tanahashi Ibushi?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so Tanahashi Ibushi. I mean, rematch of the G1. Ibushi getting the win back here.
I think so.
Ibushi. So Ibushi to the Final 4 on that side, and then the potential of a Colt Cabana or Toru Yano versus either Suzuki or Sonata. I'm going to assume you have Sonata.
Yes.
And I have Suzuki in that spot.
Either would be great.
So, Final 4 for me, I have Juice and Okada. I've got Okada going to the final. What do you have?
I do as well. Yeah, I have Okada going to the final, yeah.
Okay, so, and then I have Ibushi versus Suzuki, and I have Ibushi to the final.
Same here.
Okay, so me and you are in agreement that of a final for the New Japan Cup of an Okada Ibushi. I've got Ibushi winning. What about you?
So I think it's going to be Okada. I think they're going to stick to their original plan of putting Okada over in the G1 Supercard. I don't necessarily agree with that idea, but I believe that's where they're going to head. I'm still holding strong that Ibushi and Naito is going to be the Intercontinental title match and not Matt Taven. And I think that's kind of what's going to be the 2 headlining matches for this G1 Supercard. So I'm going with Okada.
See, and I'm going with the, if Jay White's going to be a long-term champion, you can have Ibushi go to G1 Supercard against Jay White. That's a big money match.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have Ibushi have a great match with Jay and lose. And Ibushi's one of those guys that he's Teflon.
Yeah.
No, Ibushi's popularity will never wane whether he wins or loses because he's Kota Ibushi and people love him so much. So I think a win here, a statement win for Jay at G1 Supercard over Ibushi, and then building further and further and further. And I think this also is a great step in that story with Okada where he comes so close in the New Japan Cup and then loses again, and now, okay, where are we going now? Why am I still not the Rainmaker of old? And I think that's a continuation of that story. So I've got Ibushi winning.
I mean, I personally feel like that's a better story. I'd much rather see Ibushi win. I just don't feel like they're going to alter their plans so much because Omega left. I think they just wanted to plug Jay White in there, and they're just going to roll with that. You always hear about how far ahead they're usually a couple years ahead of time in regards to booking. So for them to, alter 2 years worth of plans because of one individual, I just have a tough time seeing. But yeah, I would love to see Ibushi win.
Yeah, but that's the New Japan Cup. But Gary, the night before the New Japan Cup starts, we do get the annual New Japan Pro Wrestling Anniversary Show. Let's see, where was I at? Anniversary Show, Tokyo, in the Tokyo Ota City General Gymnasium, the site of the very first New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And this is gonna be it's a really fun card. And should we just start at the bottom and kind of go through this?
Sure.
Okay. First match, it is a 10-man tag. A team comprised of Ren Narita, Shota Umino, and Ayato Yoshida, whose name we couldn't remember earlier. That's the one I was going for. Yoshida teaming with the most violent players, Toru Yano and Togi Makabe, to take on the Bullet Club team of Huko Leo, Chase Owens, Tangaloa, Tamatonga, Bad Luck Fale. I'm gonna call the Bullet Club. This is your just general 10-man tag. I think the Bullet Club team wins here, and I'm going to call Chase Owens getting a win via package pile driver on Ren Narita.
Sounds about right. I can't imagine the Young Lion team is going to go over here. So yeah, I think it's kind of a basic opener 10-man tag. Bullet Club goes over type of match.
Yeah. Interesting note that Tangaloa just made me think of. Did you see that he in an interview recently has said that he actually does not have a New Japan contract? He is on a per appearance deal.
No, I didn't know that.
That to me seemed kind of interesting considering that they're the tag team champs and they've put so much stock into the Guerrillas. It's like you'd think they'd put Tangaloa, especially in this day and age, you'd think they'd put him on a contract.
Yeah, wow. I'm kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, I kind of found that would be a little interesting. It's like you'd think put him on a contract, that way you're protected. But nah. Second match, we get Toa Hanare teaming up with Yuji Nagata to take on Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi. I'm sorry, Ishii. We all love you. I don't know why they keep doing this to you. I think Ishii and Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi probably get a victory here. Although it wouldn't surprise me if they gave Toa Hanare a victory to set him up for the New Japan Cup.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I wouldn't be surprised if Hinari and Nagata steal this one. Yoshihashi takes the fall. There's no way Ishii's taking the fall here. But yeah, I think to build up Hinare, and I think Ishii knocks off Nagata in the first anyway, so that kind of evens them out for a future match.
Yeah, I think. Then we get third match. We get the Suzuki Gun team of Taka Michinoku, El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Taichi, and Minoru Suzuki taking on Kojima, Tomoaki Honma, Tiger Mask, Reisuke Taguchi, and Dragon Lee. I think Suzuki Gun team probably wins here, and Taichi probably hits somebody with the iron claw.
Yeah, this is just an odd pairing on the left side here with all these random guys. But I mean, yeah, I think Suzuki Gun goes over here, but this could be an interesting match.
My thing was, if we're flying Dragon Lee over, can't we give him something a little more interesting?
Yeah, I would think so.
Fourth match, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line. Shingo and Bushi in their second defense, taking on Sho and Yo Roppongi 3K. Gary, what are you thinking? Where's your head at on this one?
I think Lij retains. Who they defend against next, I have no clue, but considering they have already defended against the only two, junior tag teams that are worth defending against. So, I don't know. Good.
I got a prediction for that. I think Shingo and Bushi retain, and then I think the fact that he's on the show in the match before, I think maybe Dragon Lee comes out and makes a challenge potentially for. I'm hoping they would have him bring someone from CMLL with him, and maybe hopefully not Taguchi. No offense to Taguchi, because I love Taguchi. But like a Dragon Lee and Volador, maybe potentially.
That would be cool.
Then up next we have Jushin Thunder Liger challenging Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. I'm really looking forward to this. It's always great to see Liger get a big spot, because I think he can still deliver in the big spots. That being said, I think this is definitely being set up as a showcase win for Ishimori.
Absolutely.
But good match, I think, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And Liger stole a victory in that earlier show, so I think this is set up to give Taiji a huge win over a Japanese legend, and make him look strong going into New York.
Yeah. Then we get a Anniversary Day special 6-man tag team match. Lij, Naito, Evil, Sanada taking on Hiroki Goto, Okada, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. I think, obviously, essentially, it's weird now that essentially this match is baby when we're used to the Chaos versus Lij, when Lij were nasty heels for so long. I think they have a fun match. I think especially now, since they're essentially baby faces, I think you're going to see Naito and Tanahashi especially probably do a lot of Gaga in this match.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun match. I think it's just kind of that, special 6-man for the anniversary show, and let's just kind of go out there and have a good fun match, and everybody will get showcased. Maybe I'll call it Sonata over on Goto to add a little heat to their New Japan Cup match.
Sounds good.
I think that's kind of what sticks out there for me. And then we get when I saw this one on the headline, I was like, wow. The main event, the never openweight champion Will Ospreay taking on Jay White. I'm pants down on this match, man. I can't wait.
I'm going to say, because they're not defending the title, that Ospreay is going to steal a win here.
Wow, you're going to go that far?
I do think he's going to steal a win here and set up for him having an early exit in the New Japan Cup, because Jay White clearly is not going to tolerate that. And there's going to be a run-in. I think he has Fale in the first, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I now that I'm kind of thinking about this, I would not be surprised, because I do find it odd that they didn't have a title defense here.
That is kind of an interesting idea, and you could see maybe a flash pinfall,
yes,
and then Jay goes nuts and locks on the TTO, and then you can play up the knee in the match with Fale, where Will basically can't high fly because he's got his knee wrapped. So there is a potential that if Will is going to make a quick exit out of the New Japan Cup, that would be a perfect way to set that up. I actually hadn't even thought of that.
But this match should be fantastic either way. I mean, I think, I don't know if you've seen the Ring of Honor match that these two had when he was on Excursion.
I have, and actually, Ring of Honor uploaded that match to YouTube for free this last week. So if anybody out there has not seen it, you can actually go to Ring of Honor's YouTube page and watch that match for free.
They have fantastic chemistry, so this should be really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that New Japan Cup and the anniversary show. I'm looking forward to this week. It's gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun month.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. Like I said, all shows are on, and there'll be a whole bunch of undercard tag team matches on the New Japan Cup shows that obviously we're not gonna sit here and preview every one of those. I mean, and it's one of those things, and I always preach this: if you're pressed for time, if you get behind, if you do anything, you don't necessarily have to watch all the undercard matches on some of these shows. You can just basically go and watch the New Japan Cup matches.
I mean, that's almost, necessary when it becomes G1 season too, because there's just so many shows and so many matches that you would have to, basically make this your full-time job to be able to watch everything. Because
you literally have, and for the kickoff, I mean, if you count the anniversary show's on the 6th, then there's the day off. Then there, for the G1, there is the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 4 shows, 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 20th, 21st, 23rd, and 24th. So, I mean, we essentially get 4 days off over the entire month, beginning on Thursday. So, if you get pressed for time, I'm one of those crazy people that will probably watch most of the, especially with English commentary, I will probably end up watching most of the undercard matches. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. And I've always said if at least the cup matches will always be entertaining, so check those out. Should we? I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's been a while, but Gary, what did you think of the Iizuka retirement ceremony, retirement show? Did anything stand out? Did anything?
The whole finish to that main event was odd to me. Like, it felt very, and I hate to say this, very Russo-esque in regards to how they just teased that, reunion for so long and then swerved everyone at the end and kept him heel. I kind of have mixed feelings on it.
I did like Kevin Kelly saying, I don't think anybody's had a retirement ceremony quite like Iizuka, as Iizuka, as we had predicted, did not make a babyface turn at the end. He hit the Iron Claw of Death into the throat of Hiroshi Tenzan, and then as he made it on all of his entrances, he exited through the crowd and essentially out the front door of Corkin Hall. And then he did leave the Iron Claw of Death in the middle of the ring, and as we saw, Taichi picked it up and is, from what I've seen in pictures on some of the New Japan house shows that have been on those recent weeks, is carrying the claw in the bag. So Taichi is apparently going to add this into his act. So yeah,
it's bizarre.
Yeah, it is very, very, very strange. Now, I will say, if you haven't seen anything on this show, it was a decent show. I will shout out the Sho and Yo versus Desperado Kanemaru match as being really, really good. Essentially, it was a number one contenders match that Roppongi 3K did win. Also, the opening match of Iwamura and Liger versus Robbie Eagles and Taiji Ishimori. And we'll get into Robbie Eagles here in just a sec. As we go to Honor Rising, let me pull up night 1 results. And I think I think the first night of Honor Rising, especially these first two matches, there's a kind of a lot to talk about here. The first match we had Ren Narita taking on Marty. It's amazing to see Marty's been gone since Wrestle Kingdom, and he came back and the fans embraced him with open arms.
I would love to see him over in New Japan more. I am kind of, it's confusing to me why they're not using him nearly as much, and I understand he's with Ring of Honor, but yeah, he's way over in New Japan, and they're in dire need of some, fresh junior heavyweight matchups. So Marty makes a ton of sense to use, but I don't know what the issue is there.
Yeah, I mean, there were still the people cosplaying as Marty in the crowd. The chants were still huge. The crowd was definitely happy to see him back, and if nothing else, I think he definitely is in the best of the Super Junior.
Yeah.
But had a great match here with Ren Narita. They went 11 and a half minutes. And again, he gave the young lion a lot.
Yeah, both those young lion matches in that first night were fantastic. They really both looked tremendous, and I was glad to see those matches occur because initially I didn't think they would be as competitive as they eventually were. So I was happy to see that, and I think we were talking about Umino being ready for Excursion. Maybe Narita's not too far behind.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pulling up my ratings on this one on the Grapple app. They should sponsor us. GRAPPL. Check them out if you have a iPhone or Android device. Essentially, you can go on there and be your own version of Dave Meltzer, which I have pretty much hit the point of if it's on the Grapple app as I'm sitting there watching, then I will go ahead and rate it. I went ahead and gave this match 3 stars.
Yeah, I had it as 3.
Yeah. Up next, we had the match we've kind of referenced a few times early already. Shota Umino and Zack Sabre Jr. going 14 minutes. This was phenomenal.
Just absolutely fantastic from start to finish. I was really happy to see them give him time with Zack Sabre, and again, can't stress enough that he's ready for Excursion, and I'm really, really hoping selfishly that it's in America so we can see more of this guy live and in person.
Yeah, this is a guy, I mean, like I said, obviously this match really showed where they value him because Zack gave him a ton. Zack made him look like $1 million, and like I said, Shota's put on a ton of size. He is absolutely going to be a heavyweight when he gets back from Excursion. I'm really looking forward to the Excursion and seeing where he goes from here. Like I said, the match with Tanahashi I think is a perfect spot for him. But this match, I went 3 3/4 stars, which I almost never ever, even on a good one, go above 3 on a young lion match. But I couldn't resist. I'm like, this is 4-star quality right here.
I had a 3.5, but yeah, I agree. This is one of those rare moments where a young lion match is over 3, and again, Umino's a future star in New Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we had Rocky Eagles and Taiji Ishimori versus Jushin Thunder Liger and Jonathan Gresham. I am so beyond happy that Jonathan Gresham went over here for Honor Rising and in 2 nights in Korakuen his style, I think, just blends perfectly to that New Japan crowd. They loved everything that Gresham did. I mean, Gresham is me and you've both talked about it. We talked about it in the preview that this is a guy we've wanted to see in New Japan. I think he locked himself in for the best of the Super Juniors. I think, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this was essentially his tryout over there, and he got over like gangbusters. And then I don't know if you saw the post-show press conference thing, but Liger put him over huge. And I think he's a lock to be back. And again, he could be a huge star in New Japan in that juniors division if given the opportunity.
Yeah. I did love the he gets the Liger gets the flash pinfall here in 5 minutes and 27 seconds with the Cobra. He put him in a Cobra twist hold into a bridge pinning combination. Really cool way to kind of set that up where Liger did get did steal a pinfall here with the flash pin. which I've always said we need more of that occasionally in New Japan.
Yes.
Because it does kind of help. That really does help set up the match for the anniversary show. But no, this was fun. I enjoyed this. Up next, we had the 8-man tag. Toa Henare, Tomoaki Honma, and Lifeblood of David Finlay and Juice Robinson taking on Tangaloa, Tama Tonga, and Mark and Jay Briscoe. Gary, you called it.
Yeah, I did. I kind of wish I didn't, though, because I'm not, like, super stoked for this tag team match at the G1. I think it'll be good, but I'm kind of hoping the Briscoes do go over in that, because I'd like to see them more in New Japan. I add another heavyweight tag team, and there's some more, I think, more interesting matchups outside of GOD for the Briscoes. But yeah, it was an okay match.
Yeah, I've always loved the Briscoes in New Japan, and I wish they would show up more often.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now, you like I said, I found it. I said, yep, when I was watching it, I'm like, yep, Gary pretty much hit the nail on the head on this one, because you had called it, you had predicted it, and it pretty much came out exactly the way that you thought it would.
And I find it interesting that both titles are going to be on the line.
Yeah, it's
G1,
it's gonna be title for title. I remember the Steiners unified the titles for a short time back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not the first time that has been done. So, we will see. But up next, we had the never openweight 6-man tag team match of the champions Ryusuke Taguchi, Toru Yano, and Togi Makabe defending against Cheeseburger, Delirious, and Colt Cabana. Like I said, I don't even honestly can remember if Makabe even tagged in. I think Togi got out there, took one look across the ring, and said, "Yup, I'm not bumping tonight."
Yeah. I don't blame him.
This match ends when Toru Yano hits a low blow on Delirious. Now, they made a big deal of the fact that Colt Cabana did not see the low blow. Thus, when he went to uphold the code of honor with his friend Toru Yano, Delirious got very angry and then low-blowed Colt Cabana after the match. That's probably the most interesting thing that happened here.
Easily.
Of course, my old buddy, always great to see my old buddy Delirious. Up after that, we had the never openweight championship match of Will Ospreay versus Dalton Castle. Ospreay gets the win in 17 minutes and 30 seconds. I've seen some mixed reviews on this one. I really enjoyed the match. I worry about Dalton Castle because it to me seems like he said, like, Kevin Kelly tried to say that the injuries were in the rear view, and I'm like, I am not so sure about that. I think that he is still banged up.
I think it's pretty apparent that he's still banged up. I'm kind of curious as to why he's even wrestling at this point, and if he's not completely 100%, because I was slightly disappointed with this match just for the simple fact that I know I've seen so much of Dalton Castle's work. He worked local indies here for years before he became Dalton Castle. And I know what he can do, and especially against a talent like Ospreay, and it just fell a little bit short for me, and I think a lot of that is just because of so many nagging injuries. I
mean, like I said, that being said, they did what they could do. I actually gave this match 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, and I think it was kind of, this weekend they definitely did a couple of statements for Will, so, yeah. And I think that's what this match was kind of set out to be.
Yep.
Then we had the match that we were supposed to get on the New Japan USA tour. We had Jeff Cobb versus Hiroki Goto for the ROH World Television title match. 14 minutes, and Cobb picks up a victory, obviously. I had actually thought for a second, I said, well, maybe they'll have Goto go over to set up a rematch for G1, because I don't see a definitive program for the TV belt for the G1 Supercard, so... But Cobb picks up the victory. Decent match. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, I had it right there, right in the middle of the road. They've had better matches together before, but yeah, anytime Cobb can get over into New Japan, he's another guy that I would love to see over there a lot more. than he is. I think his style fits perfectly over there, and I would love to see him get, maybe a Minoru Suzuki or someone along those lines at the G1. I think would be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah. Then we get into the main event of the evening. We had the ROH World Champion Jay Lethal teaming up with Okada and Tanahashi to take on the Kingdom of Vinny Marseglia, TK O'Ryan, and Matt Taven. Gary, go ahead.
I don't know what happened with I don't even really know what to say, honestly. It was I will say that I was happy to see Jay Lethal in the spot. I think a lot of people give him a hard time that he can't hang, with top tier talent, and I thought he looked perfectly, acceptable in this tag team match. But I don't really know what to say about TK O'Ryan and these couple nights where he's just looked completely off and out of his game.
Here's my first thing. Why did they have Vinny Marseglia just come out like a guy?
Yeah.
Why didn't they have him do the balloons under the ring type gimmick? Because I think in Japan, that would have gotten over huge.
Mm-hmm.
They just had them come out basically as guys, like they had him stop and yell at Kevin Kelly at the announce table, but they really, I don't think they did anything to get the Kingdom over here.
No.
Which I think hurt him, and I feel like it's like, why didn't we do that? I mean, obviously, and we'll go, especially in night 2 with the TK O'Ryan thing, but I just felt like this just did not. And I mean, Lethal gets a win in 14 minutes with a lethal injection on Orion. It's like, this really didn't do anything to kind of set up anything for any of these guys for Honor Rising. So I'm like, I mean, it was a match and it was okay. I had it 2.5 stars right in the middle. So not just it's not that the match was bad. It was just a match.
Yeah.
So that was night 1. Really good show. Like I said, if there's a lot of good stuff there to watch if you haven't watched it yet. Go to night 2 of Honor Rising. We had opening match, Jonathan Gresham teaming up with Toa Hanare against Taka Michinoku and Zack Sabre Jr. I thought the babyface team here, both guys really looked excellent. Zack and Taka both sold their butts off for these guys. Gresham gets a win in 12 minutes and 20 seconds with the octopus on Taka. Gresh got it. Like I said, Gresh got over huge, locked himself in for the best of the Super Juniors. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really, really, really hoping that he's in the same block as like a Taiji Ishimori, or if the rumors are true, maybe Shingo or help me out here. My brain just blanked.
Maybe we could get a certain individual back.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiromu.
But Hiromu Takahashi. Okay. I don't know why. It's really, keep in mind he's an hour. Gary's an hour ahead of me, folks. So it's still fairly early in the morning where I'm at right now. I drank an energy drink while we were recording the early part of the show. So, but yeah, Jonathan Gresham Hiromu or Jonathan Gresham Ishimori match. Any of those I would be all for. The second match, we got Marty Scurll and Robbie Eagles. This match, I absolutely loved this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. Marty gets the win in 8 minutes and 55 seconds with the chicken wing. We saw I love it when he's serious Marty. He wasn't doing. That's one of the things. Now that the Elite's gone, we can actually have serious Marty in New Japan.
Which is considerably the better Marty.
Yeah, we're not doing the gaga goofy stuff. I will say on the other side, Robbie Eagles looked much more comfortable on these 3 shows that we saw him on this last week than he did in that Super Junior tag team tournament. And I think there's no question that Robbie Eagles is going to be in the best of the Super Junior. But Eagles looked much improved.
He's a underrated talent, and these two have gone back and forth in PWG before and have put on fantastic matches. So I'm not shocked at all that this match was great. And again, I would love to see these two guys go at it on this stage with more time. I think it was like 9 minutes or a little under 9. Yeah. So again, great match. Probably one of my favorite matches of this night.
Yeah, it really was. Third match, we had Colt Cabana teaming up with Toru Yano to take on Cheeseburger and Delirious. This is a match that happened. I gave it 2 stars, and I think I was being generous.
It went about 8 minutes too long. It was 10 minutes long.
It went 10 minutes, and yeah, that was probably at least 7 minutes too long. No offense to these guys, because I love 3 of the people in this match. And like I said, always fun to watch my old buddy Delirious wrestle. Moving on.
Yes.
We got the 4th match, kind of in your classic. These guys were in a singles match on night 1, so we're gonna just throw them in a tag match on night 2. Will Ospreay and Hiroki Goto versus Dalton Castle and Jeff Cobb. 11 minutes and 45 seconds, I gave this 3 stars. The biggest note to come out of this is Will Ospreay hits the Stonebreaker on Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
Heavyweight Will gets the win on Jeff Cobb with the Stonebreaker. Could we maybe get an Ospreay versus Cobb never TV title unification at G1 Supercard?
I would be all for that. I think those two would have a fantastic match if given, an appropriate amount of time. I'm really pushing for Ospreay Bandito just for selfish reasons, but I mean, if that's what came out of it was Ospreay Cobb, I would lose my mind.
Well, if you want an Ospreay Bandito match, you may not have seen. I posted it.
Yeah, WrestleCon.
We're getting that for the WrestleCon Super Show, so I'm looking forward to that. I've always said if nothing, I'm trying to figure out what the Mania schedule is going to be like for myself and Alex McCarthy. But that WrestleCon Super Show is going to be on Fight TV, so that match alone, I'm like, well, there just went $15 out of my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
No, so yeah, I could see an Ospreay Cobb match at the G1 Supercard. Then we get a tag team match of Shingo Takagi teaming with Tetsuya Naito to take on Vinny Marseglia and Matt Taven. I think Marseglia and Matt Taven looked a lot better in this match.
Correct.
I gave this match, I put it right in the middle of 2.5 and 3. Naito gets the win with the Destino on Vinny Marseglia, and then Marseglia and Matt Taven beat down Naito. I know you hate the thought of this, but I think we're getting a Matt Taven Naito match.
And I don't even hate Matt Taven or the Kingdom for that matter. I just think there's so many better matches that could be had on your showcase for the world essentially. That to me, it's just no offense to those guys. I think it's a waste of Naito. I think there's a lot more interesting matchups that would be much more appealing to watch, and I don't think it's going to do anyone any favors. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully my friend Mary Kate Anthony doesn't listen to this because she'll get really mad at you for besmirching the name of Matt Taven, but
I do like Matt Taven. I just don't think he's at the level of Naito yet. Maybe you proved me wrong. I don't know.
I've always said this. I think Matt Taven honestly cuts the best promos in Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah.
So and I do, and I'm a horror movie fan, so I have a soft spot for Vinny Marseglia. This match, it was a match and it was a tag match, and I think that's what we're getting. And then 6th match on the show, Ring of Honor World Championship match. We have Jay Lethal versus TK O'Ryan.
Can we skip over
Oh Lord. I gave this match a star and a half. I get that Jay Lethal is the franchise of Ring of Honor and all that, and I feel like they give him the world championship at this point because he's the safe bet. He's not going anywhere. But TK O'Ryan just did not look good here. And, I mean, he's a young kid. I think he's only like 3 years in the business, isn't he?
Yeah.
They put him in the big spot and he just didn't deliver.
He's not ready. I mean, that's the end of the story. He's just not ready for that spot. And when we talked about this before, we thought it was kind of an odd matchup to put in there. And I don't know. There was other opponents that they could have put in there that I thought would have been far more interesting. It's just, it's unfortunate. Hopefully he's able to, ignore what's going on Twitter. Don't feed into the negativity and just move on from it, because that Twitter showing of his was not a good look.
No, and then when he started attacking people on Twitter and attacking people that had I know WH Park has talked about on his show, he did not tag him. So TK O'Ryan was vanity searching himself, and especially when you start quote tweeting and attacking people that didn't tag you, that really, really to me makes you look bad.
Yes.
Don't be that guy, dude. But we're gonna move on from that. Next match, we had the IWGP Tag Team Championship match. We had Tama Tonga and Tangaloa taking on Sonata and Evil. 20 minutes, 26 seconds. Sonata and Evil lose the tag team titles to Tama Tonga and Tangaloa with the Super Power Bomb. I honestly thought this was one of the GOD's best matches. I gave this 3 3/4.
It was a strong match. It really was. I'm not surprised that GOD regained the titles. I think they're going to push Evil and Sonata in more singles roles here moving forward throughout the year. But yeah, a really strong match from them. And I like GOD as a tag team. I think once they start venturing out into singles, and I think is where they really struggle. But Tama Tonga in a tag team where he has someone to play off of, I think is a really strong character.
Yeah, these two are Tama Tonga and Tangaloa are the two guys in New Japan that I've said as a tag team. I love them I occasionally Tama in a singles match maybe. I never ever want to see Tangaloa in a singles. I never want to see Tangaloa in a G1. But as a tag team, I'm totally okay. I am always there for a GOD match. And I do love Tama Tonga on social media. So
no, he's solid on there, for sure.
Yeah. But then we had the ROH World Title match that unfortunately ends very abruptly in 17 minutes and 13 seconds. Finley hit awkwardly on his shoulder on the mat, and then they immediately went to the finish, where Finley gets a pin from Jay Briscoe. Unfortunately, it looks like Finley separated his pretty severe shoulder separation. The Briscoes were going to retain anyway, but obviously very bummed out for the injury to David Finley, who I feel like was really coming into his own. Hopefully Finley can get back soon, because I feel like if he's out for an extended period of time, this could be a huge derailment for him, because I feel like he's finally starting to show some of his potential.
I totally agree. And it's unfortunate just for this match, because I feel like it was just right at that level where it was just about to ramp up, and then he took that bad bump. And but yeah, hopefully he's back sooner than later. I think he was going to get at least one victory in the New Japan Cup, as we talked about earlier. But yeah, I think he's really starting to figure it out, so to speak. And hopefully this doesn't derail him too much.
Yeah, but overall, Honor Rising, 2 nights of shows that I always enjoy Honor Rising. I really there was some stuff I didn't enjoy, but there was definitely more stuff that I did. So I was very impressed with this year's tour, and I've always loved the continued evolution of Honor Rising, where every year, I think this year they kind of went full circle, where they really made these shows look like, and I think that's always a cool thing for, especially for the Japanese crowd, that they make these shows look like a Ring of Honor show. They use the Ring of Honor canvas, they use the Ring of Honor turnbuckle pads, they had they had Ring of Honor cloth banners. Unfortunately, they did. I would love to see the Japanese audience with the steel barricades.
Yes.
Uh, and that did lead to the hilarious spots where Yano. That was one of the few things that was good in the Yano stuff, where he on night one went to undo the pad and there was no pad. And then on night two, Cabana actually went under the ring and pulled out a pad for Yano. That was quite fun. But yeah, great shows. Gary, are there any other pieces of news that we need to cover?
Nothing that I can think of right now. I think it's just a matter of waiting and seeing how things shake out for New York. Probably won't hear anything until the end of the month about that. Once the New Japan Cup's over. Yeah.
After the New Japan Cup. Well, we have the New Japan Cup and we have the ROH 17th anniversary card, which is next Friday, right?
Next Friday, 15th, I believe.
Yeah, and let's go ahead. We got a few minutes. Let's run. I'm gonna run that down really fast because I think it does in this case have some significance for us. ROH World Title match: the Briscoes versus Brody King and PCO. If it were anything but the fact that we already essentially announced the match for G1 Supercard, I would honestly say Brody King and PCO were going to win here. Yeah. But they did announce that on the TV tapings, they're having the Kingdom face Villain Enterprises for the 6-man tags the following night on the TV tapings. So I think we're going to see new ROH 6-man tag team champions, and then that'll give Villain Enterprises something to do on the G1 Supercard, maybe defending those trios championships.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think it's with them winning that tournament, I think it was setting them up to win this, but the booking kind of changed. So yeah, I think the 6-man's pretty much a guarantee for Villain Enterprises moving forward.
We get Jay Lethal and Matt Taven for the ROH World Championship. If they're going Taven Naito, I think Taven might win here.
Maybe, but there's also rumors that it's Lethal and Aldis NWA title versus ROH title for G1. So
that is true. I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, if they're gonna unify the ROH and the NWA World Title, I think Lethal retains. And then I know I get a lot of heat for this. I actually am a fan of Nick Aldis, so I'm kind of hoping for Aldis as the ROH champ.
I'd be perfectly okay with that. He's really grown on me in the last year, and even if he doesn't decide to wrestle in Ring of Honor, I meant to mention this earlier when Colt is going on this excursion for the tournament. That means more Nick Aldis in the announce booth, so I'm all for that.
Then we get a special attraction match. This is a match I'm pants down for the 17th anniversary. Roosh versus Bandito.
This is going to be fantastic.
That is fantastic. Then we get Kenny King versus Marty Scurll. It's a match. Can't we get something better for Marty?
Yeah. What does Kenny King have on Ring of Honor management that he continues to get these massive pushes?
And now we're bringing in the beat, and now we have MVP, so they're essentially redoing Beatdown Clan.
Oh God!
It's like let's redo a terrible stable from a terrible era of Impact.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Then Maya Iwatani versus Kelly Klein in a match that I'm sure someone somewhere cares about, but it's not me.
No. Iwatani's great. I mean, I like her, but and they had a great match when Iwatani won the title. It kind of shocked me. So this has the potential to be a decent match. It's just not,
They did. It's my thing with the Women of Honor is I still feel like Ring of Honor just says, oh yeah, we'll just throw it out there.
Oh,
I think
they don't treat that division with any respect at all. It's really bad. Uh, and it's a shame because they could be, kind of the trendsetters with that if they choose to be. They do have talent there. It's just the booking of it is just, kind of baffling at times.
yeah. I think there was a little bit of note. New Japan will be sending I believe, a New Japan tag team to the Crockett Cup.
Yep.
Possibly, I'm thinking Evil and Sonata.
I'd be okay with that.
Because they're not going to send. Because I don't think they're going to send the tag team champions because they would have to take a fall. So, but other than that, no, I'm like I said, very interested to see. Obviously, the 17th anniversary show for Ring of Honor does kind of hold a more than usual place as far as what's going on with New Japan because of G1 Supercard. So we're looking forward to seeing that. But obviously, gonna be a fun month. I don't know. I'm gonna say this: we may come back with a mid New Japan Cup report type show. We'll see how the scheduling kind of lines up. Everybody, go follow us on social media at PuroRegal Pod. Follow me at SCWRegal444. Follow the Slam Fam Wrestling Network at SlamFamWREST. Don't forget to go check out Off the Chest of Timothy Regal with myself and Alex McCarthy. It's at Off the Chest TR. Gary, you got anything you want to plug?
Come chat with me at Ringside Chat on Facebook, and I am starting the Twitter a little bit. I don't know if that's what it's called. Probably just sound very old right there. At Ringside Chats with an S because Ringside Chat was already taken. So I've been tweeting there a little bit more.
Yeah, so definitely check us all out, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.